Hello, welcome to Moving Well. I am Shirley Delaurier, and in today's lesson, I just want to remind you that this is not an ordinary exercise class, that you want to slow down, pay attention to what you're sensing and feeling, and do things gently. Let me see anything more.
That was perfect. If
Okay.
anything, you had like a little gap in there of just dead air when you were trying to figure out what you were going to say next. But that was really good. Just that was really well, just talking to another person. That's how we want this to be.
Okay, do you want me to do it over so that you don't have that gap in there?
Maybe one more time, just so
Okay.
it's always
Okay.
good to have an extra cut, just to make sure.
All right.
So.
All right. Hello, welcome to Moving Well. My name is Shirley Delaurier, and before we get started, I just want to remind you this is not an ordinary exercise class. So remember to slow down, do the moves gently, paying attention to what you sense and feel. First of all, I want to ask, when you leave class, do you notice anything in the next rest of the day, the next day or so, that's anything different than prior to doing class?
I went home, let's see, when was it? I can't remember whether it was Tuesday or Wednesday of last week. And I guess it was Tuesday, and I walked up to a place where I hit golf balls, and I thought, wow, you know, if I just imagine where I want to hit that golf ball. And so I got out my short club to hit from, let's say, here to the door or maybe a little bit further. And I started hitting the balls, and they all went within about a 3-foot circle. And I thought, all right, well, I've not been able to do that before, so I think what I'm going to have to do is schedule a class like this right before I play golf or something. But again, the awareness of imagination and muscular control is becoming more and more and more apparent to me.
The power of imagining, and because when we imagine, our brain actually begins making neural connections to create what we want to have happen. And so I want to point out a couple things that are significant for doing today's lesson. Just because because I'm so visual, I think that having a picture, and I know that there are other modalities that, the spoken word is more powerful. But last week we were doing flexing and extending, which, we were focusing on the entire spine and the mobility that is potential there. So now today we're going to be focusing on rotation. And just like last week we talked about how we have 33 vertebrae totally, and each one's designed to move just a little bit. But if we include the movement of all of them just a little bit, we can become much more flexible going, bending over, but also in rotation, which will help golf tremendously. And it'll also help when you're driving and you want to look behind yourself or around for traffic, etc., and so forth. So today, looking at your spine, we're going to be focusing on that again, remembering that each one of these rotates just a little bit, and it goes all the way from your head to your sacrum with that kind of flexibility. But the sacrum, it's a solid bone, but there's cartilage on each side where it hooks to our hip bone, which means it's like our nose. It's pliable, so that it has potential movement this way as well as this way. So there is flexibility there. So I think it helps to be aware that that's there, because when we think of our skeleton, we think of solid bones, and as you know, the picture we hold has a big impact on how we move. So that being said, today, like I said, we're going to be doing a lesson in rotation. So as always, remember, start small and slow. Imagine. You can always imagine before you do a move, or to stop and imagine the move. And we know that when we do imagine, that our brain is actually beginning to organize us to do that move. So go ahead and just come present in your chair. In doing the lesson, you'll want to slide forward a little bit so that your thighs are not restricted by the chair. And just take a few moments now to feel where you have your feet placed. And by that I mean as far as the width, and generally speaking, you want your feet about hip width apart, shoulder width apart, which is generally the same. You may want to take your shoes off so that your feet actually have the sensation of contact with the floor. There. And as always, we start out by getting present with where we are. So just feel the contact of your feet on the floor, how much of your right foot is in contact with the floor, where is there space, perhaps under the arch, and your left foot. And then slowly scan through your ankles, up through your lower leg, your calf on the right and on the left to your knees. From your knees to your hip joints, your right hip joint, your left hip joint. And you might want to put just a slight pressure on first your right foot and just see if you feel any force going through your skeleton now. And then just a little force on your left foot. If you feel any force going through your skeleton. If so, how far? Does it go all the way to your hip joint or further? And then just feeling your two sit bones. Does it feel like they're in a straight line, or does it seem like one's ahead of the other on the chair? And get a sense of your sacrum in between your two hip bones. Notice your breathing. And as you inhale and exhale, do you feel movement in your belly muscles? Is there tension in your belly muscles, or is your belly relaxed? And then going back to your spine, at the top of your sacrum, just slowly scanning through your low back area, the 5 lumbar vertebrae, and then where the ribs begin attaching to your spine, your thoracic vertebra. Slowly scanning up, noticing any tendency of curving in your spine. That could be curving right and left, it could be curving front and back, or does it feel like your spine is just a straight line? As it continues up through between your shoulder blades, does it feel like it's closer to your right shoulder blade or your left shoulder blade? And all the way to C7, that large vertebra at the base of your neck. And then continuing through your neck, we have 7 cervical vertebrae that go all the way into your head, the base of your skull. And now picture how your head is perched on your spine. And then just gently turn your head a little left and a little right to notice what kind of movement is available in a comfortable range. And feel your shoulder blades on your back. And scan down your right arm from the tip of your shoulder to your elbow, through your forearm, wrist, your palm and your fingers. And then shift to your right arm and scan from the tip of your shoulder to your elbow to your wrist, your wrist through your hand, your fingers and your thumb. And then just notice, does it feel like your shoulders are in a level plane? Is one higher than the other? And then let that go. And just focus on your breathing for a moment. As you inhale and exhale, where do you feel movement? Do you feel it in your chest, your belly, your ribs? Where do you feel the expansion? And then just gently turn to the right in the range of absolute total comfort, and see how far do you turn in a comfortable range. And open your eyes and see, mark a spot on the wall. Mark a spot for where turning is totally comfortable now for you. And then come back and do the same thing, looking in the opposite direction. And then come back to neutral. And just, is there any change in how you're sitting on your chair just from having given yourself that much attention? Any difference in your breathing? And just a reminder, as in all movements, you're going to go slowly. Start out with each movement being small. And let yourself relax as much as you can. If you notice that you're tensing up, pause and take a nice breath and let it go, and let go of the tension as well. And then, as always, we rest briefly in between each movement. So now, with your hands just gently resting on your legs, your thighs, just turn to look to the right. And come back. Just do that a couple times. Without any strain, without any extra effort. So notice, you're doing extra effort if you go to a place and then you go a little further. That's the extra effort. So just to make it clear. So now mark a spot on the wall as you turn to the right. Mark a spot. And then come back to center. And now this time, keep your eyes focused straight ahead. So your eyes are going to stay straight ahead. And again, you're going to turn to the right.
Is our neck allowed to go further?
As long as your eyes stay on the spot that you mark in front of you. Yeah, your eyes need to stay. If your eyes are turning, then you're not doing it. Oh, I need to clarify. Come back to center. Mark a spot straight in front of you on the wall. Words are important. Thank you. So the eyes stay straight ahead, and you gently turn to the right. And avoid doing any stretching or forcing. Notice, do you inhale or exhale as you turn? See if you can relax your neck and your shoulders, your legs. Notice your upper body doesn't turn quite as far when your eyes are not moving. And then just come back to neutral, pause, take a breath. And each time that we do this little pause, do an internal check to see if you notice anything changing, anything relaxing, softening, or do you engage some extra tension that you could let go of? Now, once again, including your eyes, turn everything to the right and see, has anything changed? Do you see a little further? And then come back, pause. Just notice, is there anything changing in your breathing or any difference between your right side and your left side? Okay, now this time, keep your head and your eyes focused straight ahead. So look at that spot on the wall that you made. Your head is going to stay there along with your eyes, and you're going to turn your body again to the right. The head stays there. The head stays there. So the head stays forward. Your chin stays in the center, and just your body turns. So that, virtually what that means is that there's a rotation in the opposite direction of your neck. So it's kind of like wringing out a rag. One end goes in one direction, and
You're keeping both ends of your spine almost in the same place and just twisting the middle, which is,
yes,
I've got to concentrate on that.
it does take.
Which is good.
Takes concentration, takes focus.
And that pulls the muscles
And remember your,
It's just not, you don't do that very often.
it's true. And remember, each of those little vertebrae is turning, at least from C7 down a little bit. Now, try inhaling as you do that and exhaling as you return. And then reverse it. Inhale and exhale as you turn. And just notice.
You're using some of the same muscles to breathe as rotate, so for one who can't walk and chew bubble gum, it takes me a lot of concentration to do that.
Right, so, okay, now go ahead and turn turn your entire body to the right and see what happens now. Is anything changing?
I can, stresslessly or no pain turn further by about, 15 degrees, is that? No, 30 degrees maybe, I don't know.
You notice a difference, right?
Oh, yeah.
So observing that difference gives your brain some information that says, I like that, I think I'll use that. And then just rest. Take a few moments to feel the difference. Do you feel a difference in between your right shoulder and your left shoulder? Any difference in relaxation? Is your left side beginning to relax? Okay, now come back. Now this time, let your hands just rest on your thighs. And now this time, relax your legs as much as possible and begin to take your left knee forward a little bit. Your feet stay put and just your left knee moves forward. And of course, anything your left knee is attached to. So your left knee, you're still looking straight forward, but you're taking your left knee forward a little bit. It's a small movement, but notice what's happening in your lower back. What happens to your neck and shoulders? Notice when you inhale and when you exhale. Happening with your neck, your head, your shoulders. What about your belly? What are you doing with your belly? Okay. Again, suck your belly in real tight and do that move. What happens? And so your brain says, "Ah, let's not do that." So what do we want to do with our belly? Yeah, use it. Relax, let it, yeah, actually, you can actually engage it. You can let it be soft. You can actually push it out towards your left thigh. Just play with it. See, there are all kinds of things we can do with it. We can suck it in, feel what that does. Push it out to the left, feel what that does. Push it out to the right, feel what that does. And then just notice what movement of your belly helps this business of turning. Again, what are you doing with your breathing? When do you inhale? When do you exhale? When do you not breathe? When do you no-hale? When do you hold your breath? Yeah. If you start paying attention, you may be surprised how often in your daily life you're holding your breath. I know it was a surprise to me when I started paying attention. And then just let it all go. Let yourself relax. Of course, relaxing also means just paying attention to anything you feel that's changing, anything that's different. Again, that's giving our brain information.
Next time I pick up a golf club, I'm going to have to not be distracted by, okay, when am I breathing? Or just learn how to incorporate that into the stroke. Anyway.
Well, what's interesting is incorporating it in a class situation like this makes you more conscious, and you're more likely to automatically, and this is a great lesson for helping with your golf swing. And then come back. So you want to be a little closer to the edge so that your thighs on the chair, not to be super close, but just so that your thighs aren't going to restrict your movement. And now begin gently taking your right knee forward a little. Oh, pause a moment. Before you do that, look to the right. See if you're the range that you noticed. No, look to the left. Sorry, look to the left.
Other right.
The other right, yeah. So look to the left and see. Remember, you looked to the left and to the right to begin with. So notice, did anything change just having done this in one direction? A little bit of difference. Okay. All right. So now, again, just look to the left. Mark a spot on the wall now for where you are now. How far you can see with no strain whatsoever. And then come back. Focus your eyes on something straight ahead. So you're going to keep your eyes focused on something straight ahead, and then begin turning to look to the left.
Eyes and head or just eyes?
Right now you're just keeping your eyes, yeah. Just repeat it a few times. You're slowly turning your head, your upper body to the left. Notice, is there any tension in your face, your jaw that you could let go of, your shoulders, your legs, your toes? And again, notice that your body doesn't turn as far because your eyes are staying put. And then come back and pause. And then again, turn yourself to the left with using your eyes and everything. Just let your whole self turn to the left. See, has anything changed with it? Just having done one little variation. Again, you're still going within the range of ease. Now this time, keep your head and your eyes focused straight ahead. And gently turn yourself to the left. Head and eyes stay straight forward. You're slowly turning your shoulders and your upper body to the left. Letting your face relax, your neck, your shoulders, your belly. Feel how your left shoulder moves back and your right shoulder moves forward. And then come back to neutral and pause. Take a moment to feel your sit bones on the chair. Anything's changing, and you feel the sensation in your chest, your belly, your shoulder blades. And then come back and turn again to the left, this time letting all of yourself turn and see what happens. Notice, do you feel anything just automatically happening as far as your knees, your legs, when you do it this time?
Well, the one moves forward, but I don't know if we're supposed to move them forward. We're supposed to keep them rigid.
No, you can let happen whatever happens. Just notice what you're doing. Remember how I've mentioned that learning crosses over in the brain?
I feel like sort of a counter move. I feel like I'm sitting a little bit to the right when I turn left.
Shift your weight.
Yeah.
Okay, and then come back.
My range of motion is increased a large amount there. I can almost see the corner of the room back there, which I was just barely getting past the flag when I started there. So.
Interesting. So you noticed, tell me, what did you notice in the movement of your legs? I think you mentioned it already.
The other
The one that you're not turning towards is going forward.
Yeah.
So you're turning
So
to
that your
the,
pelvis can pivot
Right.
with you.
all right. So now, intentionally, just a few times, move your right knee forward, just in sitting, without turning yourself. Just still relaxed, looking forward, and just gently move your right knee forward. And then your left knee forward. And just alternate slowly. Now this is where your image of that, remember I said the sacrum has the hip bone on each side, that's cartilage in between, it can move. So you can imagine a little bit, it isn't a huge movement, it isn't like I'm moving my hands, but it's cartilage, so there's movement, so that your sacrum has some flexibility there. Between your hip bone and the sacrum, there's some room for the pelvis to move. So just alternate your legs a few times, with the knee, right knee going forward, left knee coming back, and then reverse it. And just let yourself relax and feel. Can you sense the sacrum turning a little bit? And your sacrum, of course, connects to your low back vertebra, your spine. So in just playing with it, not trying to make anything happen, just feel where you feel rotation in your spine. Maybe that you don't feel anything yet, or you may begin to feel just in the lower vertebra, you feel some rotation. And then come back to neutral, just pause and rest. As you inhale and exhale, are you noticing any change from the beginning of the lesson? And now come back. And let's think of putting it all together. So now if you think of moving your left knee forward, what happens to your right knee? And do you feel your two sit bones? What happens in your sit bones? Uh-huh. And your sacrum? It twists. Uh-huh. And then put your attention on your spine, the lower spine where it connects to your sacrum. And begin to notice how far up your spine do you feel rotation.
About as far as you want to.
And so just allow now think about turning to the right, that you're going to turn to the right, and that the rotation of your spine just continues all the way up. So you can let your eyes look to the right, your head can look to the right. Your right shoulder can move back, your left shoulder can move forward. So that means that your sternum is also, your sternum in the front. Remember there's cartilage on each side of your sternum where the ribs attach, so that's also flexible, pliable. So you can soften your chest. Even just imagining your chest getting soft makes a difference. Can you feel that?
Kind of a great feeling, isn't it, to feel connected, like you move one thing and everything.
Kind of goes, yeah. Yeah, it's an incredible design, but often we've messed with that design. So.
My main thing right now is, for so many years you're told, sit up straight, keep your shoulders back.
Yeah, that's what we were taught.
The more, driving over this weekend, went to 2 different graduations, and I had to concentrate driving, holding rather than 10 and 2, 9 and 3, and matter of fact, even lower, and just letting my shoulders sag, and a lot less strain overall.
So, and as we continue with lessons, you'll find that there is a potential to differentiate between your shoulder blades and the arm movement. That you can have your shoulder blades drop down here, and you can also have your hands up here, and your shoulder blades can be down. But that will come, don't worry about it. Okay, so now just let your hands rest on your thighs, and think of turning to your right. That's where we started. And no, we started, turning to our right. I have to look at you and reverse me. Okay, and just alternate now. Slowly take your left knee forward, your right knee back. Feel how it turns your pelvis. Feel the rotation all the way up. Just slowly rotate until you're looking around behind yourself. And then slowly come back, go all the way through, so that you rotate and look to the left. Resist the urge to force it, or are you feeling some discomfort? Okay, do it softer. Do it soft. Do it. Everything we do it softer. Okay, then come back to the center slowly. And now focus your eyes on something straight ahead of yourself. And alternate. Take your right knee forward, your left knee back, your left shoulder back, your right shoulder forward. So you're rotating everything to the left except your head. Your head and your eyes are going to stay ahead. So remember, you've got that spine. Each vertebra turns a little bit. And if there's a place along your spine that feels like it gets stuck, or pause there, take a breath, breathe into that spot, soften, and gently continue turning. And then pause in the middle. Take a break, rest. And then come back forward on your chair. And now do this very gently, very slowly. Now you're going to be turning your body to the right, and you're going to look to the left, as though you're looking over your shoulder. So without forcing, just go where it's easy, and then alternate. You're looking over the shoulder that comes forward. So your whole spine is twisting under your head. Those vertebrae are designed to rotate back and forth. Let your shoulder blades relax. Let your shoulder blades slide down your back. Notice when you inhale, when you exhale, and do it in slow motion. It doesn't have to be a big move. It's just getting that little rotation and counter rotation. And then come back to the middle. Pause there a moment. Take a breath. Check your foot alignment with your knees. Sometimes we adapt. As we're efforting in one part, we start doing something different with our other parts. So look to see if your heels are under your knees. Or are they wider than your knees? So check. Yeah.
Are they wider?
You are holding your knees in just a little bit. Just a little bit. So just become aware of that. So put them there again to feel what that's like, and then bring them out. See, all we have to do is give our brain a new imprint. And now go back to looking straight ahead and turning everything beneath your head in the one direction and the other, but your head stays straight ahead. And if you rest your hands on your knees moving, it kind of helps your arms go, helps your shoulders go. Notice when you're inhaling, when you're exhaling.
Are we looking straight ahead?
Yeah, you're keeping your head and your eyes straight ahead. So, for some reason, that song, "The Girl from Ipanema Was Walking," comes to my mind as we're doing that. So.
Who was it, the actress who says, "I vowed to be alone"? That comes to my mind. Garbo. That's it.
So now as you're doing it, just close your eyes. So you're still thinking, but make the move so small that you can sense each vertebra rotating down your spine. Let it be a really small rotation movement, and see if when you go really small, are all of your vertebrae participating, or? And then come back to neutral. Breathe. And then one last time, turn and look to the left. You're going to look and see, where do you turn now comfortably? Is it different than the spot you marked on the wall? And then slowly come through, turn to the right, and see if anything's changed as far as where you marked on that, on the right. And come back to center and just notice what you notice as far as your contact with the chair, your feet on the floor, your breathing. Is there any difference in your breathing? You feel your breath going deeper in your torso. Of course, we know it's not your lungs going deeper, but the relaxation of the muscles allows for more of yourself to be involved in breathing, which allows yourself to inhale deeper. Okay, go ahead and stand up. And then just stand, let your arms hang, put your feet where they're comfortable underneath yourself. And just take a few moments, bring your attention in, feel the way. First take a notice of what gets your attention first. And then notice the way your head is perched on your spine, the way your shoulders are resting. Can you feel your shoulder blades kind of hanging in the back? Feel where your arms are in relation to your body. Are they closer to your body now? Feel how much of your foot, your right foot and your left foot is in contact with the floor. Take a moment to notice just the sensation in your face, your jaw, your eyes. And then go ahead and walk around. Paying attention to what gets your attention first in walking.
I don't think I went, I can't cover 360 degrees, but it's maybe 345.
More potential than you expected?
Oh, yeah, I didn't, I've always thought, wow, just in the last couple of years, trying to coil and uncoil swinging a golf club is now getting enhanced by this, so, anyway, I have to bring in a scorecard or two, so.
Yeah, great.
Now, do you think, would it be correct to say that when you do those turns, your spine has to give up a little bit of its curvature?
It automatically does.
Yes.
Because as you rotate, you get taller. So there's the lumbar curve decreases. Yeah, it does. Is that what you were feeling?
Yeah, in fact, what it seems to happen is that, because my whole life I've had the opposite curve in the spine, from slumping. And
Yeah, that's what you're trying to affect right there, yeah.
And I find that as soon as I start losing it, then my body wants to just let it completely go and curve out. I lose too much of the curve. Once I start like a momentum, and then my body's natural tendency is to just let the whole thing, let the pelvis tip back too as well.
Show me what you mean.
Well, going,
Oh, to come out of
Yes.
slouching,
yeah.
that you become erect?
No, the opposite. When I start to turn, as I lose a little of that curvature, it seems like then my body says, oh, I recognize, that's what I like. Because the habit is to be like this.
Right.
And when I'm trying to sit with a nice curve in my spine. When I start to turn, then my body wants to do this as I turn. Go from here to here.
Okay, so as you turn, well, go ahead and do that. As you turn and as you come here, then what happens if you then come upright in this position? And then go back into curving down, and swing through, swing through, swing through, swing through, and now come erect in this position. Your belly comes out in that direction. So there is some variation in flexing and extending of the spine. What do you find when we did that? What did you feel?
Help his golf.
Well, I'm not sure what I felt, but I mean, it took an effort to straighten, and I mean, it feels better to be in this position. This feels more balanced, like my skeleton is doing the work and not the muscles.
Exactly.
I like this.
So that's what we do. Okay, so we go back down, round again. Your belly comes in, let your head hang too, and then come around again. And belly comes out, and you come up.
A lot of driving. Through the rain.
How does that feel?
Good. That's good.
Okay.
Yeah, my gardening muscles.
So we give the brain lots of variations, and then it begins to reorganize. So then we find, oh, that feels good.
Yeah. Yeah.
Does that answer your question or
Well, I'm
not?
not sure. I'm not sure really what my question was. I guess what I tend to think is that it's just a relatively long learning process to get that spine back to a natural curve. And I guess what I'm seeing there is that the habit kicks in as soon as it can, as soon as it sees an opportunity. So when I'm doing those turns, I'm constantly realizing, I'm like this again. You know, I'm finding myself, oops, here I am again, even without, you know, being conscious of it until I get there.
Right, but you're conscious of it when you get there now, whereas in the
Yeah.
past you weren't conscious of it. So another big piece in this is the belly, is having your belly free to come out, which allows the lumbar curvature. And when your belly comes in, you're automatically going to be slouching. So you want the availability to come out as well as to come in, because we need to flex and we need to extend both. So we want them both to be available. So
Okay. Thanks.
thanks for the question. Thank you for watching. Please join us next time for the next episode of Moving Well.
Do you love local sports? Whether it's Oxford High School or Parks and Rec, you can buy copies of each game. To purchase your copy, call us at 248-628-9658 or give us an email at manager@occtv.org or talk to us at the next game. Hopefully we'll see you there.